Hi, everybody. Hopefully, everybody can see me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hold up, y'all. My hair is all crazy per usual. Welcome, everybody. Let me see how the audio sounds. Give me 1 second. Making sure all that's good on my end. Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing? Pika, Pika's already strutting the wrench. Listen, she said, listen. Trolls, be warned, your foolishness will be blocked immediately. Look, let me just say this, all right? Um, I don't care if anybody's got a difference of opinion here. Y'all know I don't care about that. It's truly the way in which you approach the situation. If you start, disrespecting me or my mods or somebody in the chat, that's when we done. Because I don't do the run your mouth type of shit. You know what I mean? Like, you're in my house, you're gonna respect my house. That's just how I am. You may not agree with me. This isn't about freedom of speech or anything like that. It's about what is like happening and being respectful. Welcome, everybody. You didn't get you got the notification this time. Well, hey, Lathanda, where you been? I hope you're doing well. How are you? Hope you're doing well. If you saw my live earlier, as promised, I told y'all we were going to go live about this again, this topic, okay? And now that I've kind of collected my thoughts and had a little bit more, just like, all right, like I know kind of where to go from here. I don't have any notes still because sometimes I don't even have notes half of the time. Thank you, Diana B. I mean, not everybody. Listen, some of the people are per usual. I'm used to getting dragged and all kinds of shit said about me. I'm not new to this at all. At all. Welcome, everybody. Thank you, Tinkle. Look at Tinkle Tits listening while heading home from work. I hope you're doing well, Tinkle, Tinkle, Tinkle. Shout out to you. Hi. No worries. So I'm going to give you guys the short of what's going on, okay? What is it called? Is it the TDLR or is it the all? I always get the abbreviations confused. Is it the LR, LTR, the the TDR, which is the long, too long, didn't read. That's what it is. I always get the abbreviations confused. Yeah, y'all know what I mean, right? The little short. I'm gonna give you the little short one. Too long, didn't read. See, y'all, you guys have to help me. Mel, how you doing? All right, I'm gonna give it to you. All right. And because some of you guys are new, I have new people in here. Hey, Shrinking Sharon. Hey, everybody. I'm just giving the notifications some time to get out here. Thank you, thank you. And Tinkle Tits has been a member for 21 months. Thank you, Tinkle again for supporting my channel. Look at this, 8 ass, 10 months. Glad Rabbit is back. I have something to watch. 8 ass, I've been back. Where you been? Hope you're doing well. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Tinkle again. Thank you for supporting my channel. Y'all are amazing. Okay. Hey, Amanda, how are you? Thank you, y'all. All right. We got to get it together. Got to get it together. All right. Some of you guys in the chat have been with me for a long, long, long time. Oh my goodness. Now everybody, look at Jody who 10 months. Thank you, Jody. Lathanda 8 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Shelly Kelly 11 months. I'm gonna stop paying attention to the chat because I got so much to get into. So y'all forgive me if I don't acknowledge you. But shout out to the people that I look at, like Shelly, Darby, 21 months. Thank you. My God, like, look at this shit. Y'all are amazing. Thank you. Hey, Lady Webs. I hope you're doing well. I haven't seen you in a minute. Shout out to you. And Just the Tea, 22 freaking months. And Just the Tea has been around for like, I think since I started my channel. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, we're gonna get into it, okay? Some of you guys have been with me for a long, long time. Okay, like Just the Tea. Some of you guys have been here like for a while. And so, kind of, if you've been following this situation here, you know how all of this started. Okay. So, back almost a year, I want to say a year, November, because it was a year. Yeah, it was November last year. I did a video about Aaron Smith-Levin, who's a huge YouTuber here on YouTube, right? Where he exposes a lot of the Scientology stuff, right? And then from there, I had a lot of people kind of follow me from there. I was giving commentary about him leaving the Aftermath Foundation and everything that happened from there. And then I had the opportunity to talk to Aaron Smith-Levin on my channel. And, he trusted me in telling the story that was behind him leaving and even giving some backstory as to why he left, right? I was able, through my conversation with Aaron, able to see some receipts about what actually happened during the Aftermath Foundation. I was able to see um, just how people in the Aftermath Foundation kind of maneuvered in the background. And it really gave me a different, like, it's like my eyes were open about who some of these personalities were behind the scenes. And so from there, it feels like it's been like bombshell after bombshell after bombshell when it comes to talking about the Aftermath Foundation or talking about Aaron or talking about any of these of the situations, right? One of the things that Aaron shared with all of us here was what happened with in the LA situation with a woman by the name of Juliana. Okay. And even the trolling that happened, my finding out information, I was able to talk to a lot of people offline about what happened in LA. Okay. There was a lot of people offline that I talked to outside of Aaron to figure out, like, is Aaron lying to me? What's going on with Aaron? Because I don't really know him other than he's a big YouTuber. You know what I mean? But like, that shouldn't like sway me. That shouldn't like tell me how I should proceed in telling a situation. Right. So I talked to a couple YouTubers and then a couple people in the community. One of the people that I talked to, and I don't think you'll mind me saying his name, but was Mr. Augustine, who essentially let me know just how concerning this Juliana woman was and everything that kind of followed, and his thoughts about what the foundation was doing, essentially supporting everything that Aaron was saying about the moving parts. Okay. And again, shout out to Mr. Jeffrey Augustine. Other than the one conversation I've ever had with him, that's all I've known about Mr. Augustine. So we get all this information cleared out about Aaron, and then I start noticing like there are specific people in this community in SPTV and or Aftermath, whatever y'all want to call it, right? That are literally like team this person or team that person, right? And so they will do like videos where they expose Aaron or they expose other people in the community without any regard about trauma or anything. They don't give a shit. They just do the videos, right? Sometimes they're anonymous, so that kind of makes it hard to like, who are you responding to type of situation. I kind of sit back and I'm like, all right, I'm not going back and forth with somebody that it is what it is. Part of being on YouTube is that you're gonna get doxxed, you're gonna get exposed. That shit happens. That has happened to me. It's like a rite of passage at this point. I hate to put it that way, but it's the fucking truth. Okay. So somebody reaches out to me, and that was Miriam from Rage Against the Dark Arts. Okay. And Miriam, I was kind of leery, like, I don't, what, because there were so many people that were reaching out to me after I talked to Aaron. Like, a lot of people tried to talk, because I was like, I don't know what's going on, right? And I got to do a little research on Miriam and figured out that she was trying to tell her story, but that her telling her story was going to expose another prominent person in the community, which was Mike Rinder. And what I've known of Mike Rinder is he is he was in the Aftermath, head of OSA, did a bunch of shit, really affected a lot of people and their lives. He moved in the way in which it impacted a lot of people, right? And their lives. That's just how it was. And she wanted to put out some information that she felt like it was important. She had a lot of questions about how, the decision making between the abuse that she went through with her dad and everything that followed. Also, we can't forget that Scientology is a criminal organization, y'all. Y'all do realize that, right? That there are people, and this is where a lot of the tension happens, that there are people that are from the second to third generations, okay? And then you have people here that have lived and breathed Scientology, that were part of this organization, that were head executives, and somehow get to leave that organization and then get to create foundations and get to be here and then try to, like, I guess, tell their sides of the story. But some of the people that are also in the same community are children that have survived this cult, or that went through something with this cult, or remember somebody who had a decision making in their process, right? So, one of the things I told Miriam, I said, Miriam, how do you want to proceed in this? Like, it would be one thing for me just to bring her on and for her to say a bunch of things about Mike Rinder. So I told her, I said, I suggest, because that is what you do, right? You don't just come out here and expose people. That is how you get a lot of pushback. Ask him some questions, think about questions that you want to ask. If you can ask him some questions, because maybe, he might be open to answering those questions. Oh, he was not. It was 16 questions. He was not. We got a letter from the attorney, from one of the attorneys, who basically said that, something about dog and fleas. Apparently I'm the dog. It wouldn't be the first time somebody calls me a bitch. It is what it is. Uh that's how it was. Of course, to me, there is no relation to me to Mike Rinder or anything like that. Absolutely not. So, mhm, period. Beware of spin-off movements that distract from the original unifying goal. Book of Witnesses, chapter 3. Thank you, BJ. Thank you, BJ. Shout out to BJ in the chat. Oh, Sammy, nobody's innocent. I promise you. Nobody's innocent of anything, okay? Let me just say that nobody's innocent. All right? So Miriam sends these questions. Of course, they pissed off Mike. I get called a dog, whatever. It's in a letter. An attorney sends it to me, and that was in. That was it. That was basically it, right? And then Mike does his interview with another person by the name of John Atack, and there is like this dismissing of what Miriam went through, as well as other people in this cult, and it just didn't stop throughout 2024, right? Like, this just kept going and going and going, right? Well, I get an email from more than one person where a document gets leaked to me, a very confidential document, okay? And it is a document essentially where an attorney by the name of Brian Kent is being interviewed, or excuse me, investigated. So a lot of allegations in this document. Saw the document and I decided to essentially redact information, do what I had to do. And before I did any of it, actually, I was talking to a lot of people in the community, who I won't say who exactly, right? But this document didn't come from Aaron Smith-Levin. This document didn't come from Jenna. It didn't come from those individuals, okay? But apparently, this attorney was being accused of some pretty salacious stuff. And a lot of people, because like I said, this document was well known to a lot of people. When the victim of the said person in the document decided to disclose this document, essentially, there's no privilege anymore, right? Confidentiality was lost. Regardless of how it happened, it got put out there by the victim to other people, right? Other people. So this document essentially exposes Brian Kent and his practices. Okay. Um, Made some pretty, basically, it says that Brian Kent, as an attorney who was sitting on Child USA board and who was an attorney that was representing various clients from Scientology, okay, from the survivors of Scientology, that he had done some pretty heinous shit to one specific person. Now, at that time, it was just one person. Okay. So I did a live and I exposed the document. I redacted the document. I removed names. I did all that. Even though A lot of people knew who this person was. Okay. I've never said this person's name, but I did. I did redact the document. There's no hiding that. It's where it came from. Or excuse me, I did expose the document, but it was redacted. And even details were redacted about what happened exactly to this person. Okay. As soon as I did that, I get in contact with like other people that were wondering about what happened, what were the like what was going on, how this document came about, and I'm not saying anything other than it was leaked and it had been passed around. That's what I'm going to say about that. By the victim. But my exposing this document essentially led to like a fire. Okay. I'm going to read to you what the Philadelphia Inquirer posted. All right. Marcy Hamilton, who is the founder and CEO of Child USA, made a statement, and this was back in April. All right. I'm going to read you guys this statement because I feel like we get lost in translation. And then we're going to go to Mike Rinder's words. Okay. It says the leak of the complaint is highly unusual. Disciplinary boards' investigations are kept secret unless they result in public sanctions. The Inquirer, has independently confirmed the authenticity of the complaint. On Friday, Marcy Hamilton, the founder and CEO of Child USA, said in a statement that other people have since come forward with similar complaints. So we had one complaint, and then more people came forward with complaints about Brian Kent and his practices and behaviors as he was promoting himself to be like this attorney to help support victims of abuse, of religious abuse specifically. So once this document got leaked, other people came forward, and it was other people that had been recommended to Brian Kent. Okay? That even though it was said that she did not want it leaked, I get it. I understand it. But I didn't speak to her directly. That was already out there, if that makes sense. And it's been well known. That's what I'm like, why are we acting so surprised now? There were other people, okay, that came forward with similar complaints indicating that there appears to be a pattern of manipulative and abusive behavior by Brian Kent towards vulnerable victims nationwide, seeking to find validation and justice in the legal system. Okay. The organization did not immediately provide details on those allegations. And this is Marcy directly who says there are others out there who have the same story. A political science, she's a political science major. Yeah. She teaches at a university. She's a fancy attorney. Okay. We just didn't want to let anybody think this should be ignored. This is when the FBI ought to get involved. That is her direct statement. She said that they didn't know, and this is when the FBI ought to get involved. So I have a lot of questions about all that I still don't have answers to. But that is what happened. So Mike Rinder decides to do a video yesterday where he does like a 7-part video where he's exposing, a lot of it was exposing Aaron Smith-Levin, okay? And a lot of it was also kind of throwing like other people in the community under the bus, and not even under the bus. It was just kind of like, how dare you when I have helped you guys? How dare you when, our children grew up together? How, what, like, I was surprised to see this. And I mean, he brought in Sterling, who hasn't said anything publicly. Shout out to Sterling. He brought up even Natalie, who's giving commentary here and there, but I've never heard Natalie, Life Without a Cult, giving anything like Like she's never even said anything, like mean or offensive or anything to Rinder. If anything, she's just giving commentary just like everybody else. The series of videos, which is from the looks of it, Mike's not doing too well. And let me say it, I'm gonna look at the camera, all right? Because I don't think, again, just like my first video, I don't think Mike's gonna watch this video, right? I don't wish any of this to you, Mike, to your family. I'm really sorry that this is happening to you for whatever it means, because I would never wish an illness or anything like that. But what you're going through shouldn't overshadow what other people are also going through in the community. If they have felt like they have been held back from things that have happened in this cult, okay? It's not like they owe you forever if they have looked back at their time in Scientology and realized the impact that you had in their life, in their families, the way things were shaped. I am sorry. And I would never wish anything like that on anybody. But I think what people were expecting is that you would give them a little bit of validation and information. If you have anything to their case, to what happened to them, anything that you can shed to any little thing would have helped them. That's what I'm pretty sure they wanted. Hell, resolution, Serge, who went live yesterday. He wasn't even mentioned out of all the names that were thrown out there, guys. Serge was not mentioned. And Serge has been out here saying no more kids in Scientology. Serge has been out here dragging Mike Rinder and others in the executive side. He's been dragging them because he has, and I hear him, man. He's right. He is right. In order to stop this criminal organization, in order to stop creating some of the chaos, because let me tell you, everybody here in the chat is really good at telling Aaron shouldn't do this, Reese shouldn't do that, Natalie shouldn't do this, oh no, Nora shouldn't do that, and who else? Dianetics shouldn't be doing this, and y'all are very good at telling people what they can't and should do based on the things that you have seen, based on what you feel like is appropriate. But you ain't never walked a mile in their fucking shoes to even give them that recommendation, right? You haven't. I don't know what it's like to be Miriam or Serge or Liz Gale or anybody else. So the 7 videos here, okay? I'm gonna look away in the camera because that's just awkward to me after a while. The 7 videos is about exposing Aaron Smith-Levin. And for the record, I don't have a problem with Aaron Smith-Levin. I don't have a problem with Oh No Nora. I like them all. I'm not going to do a video about what happened in Colombia or what happened here or what he did there. I don't give a shit about that. I don't. Let him come to terms with the things that he has done. If he's breaking the law, then I guess it's a whole different issue. Then we'll talk about it then. But let him come to terms with that, because that's what you do as an adult. I'm not here to do a video every time Aaron fucks up or Nora fucks up or somebody fucks up. I'm not here to take sides on their conflict. Why? Some of this shit I'm not even a part of. Y'all aren't part of the boards. You guys aren't part of the group messages. You guys aren't part of any of that. Okay, you're mad about it? Great. Be mad about it. There's a whole fucking Reddit over there dedicated to exposing them. Anybody can get it over there, right? I'm just saying. So this is what he says, okay? Let's get into it. This little video right here. And this is, I think, part 5. And like I said, Rinder, excuse me, Rinder looks like he's not doing too well. And so he does these 7 videos. I get mentioned, I think, in 5 or 6. I can't even remember, or both. But let's talk about it. And I do have to speed it up because he does talk a little bit slow here. And hopefully we can, I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you all my thoughts and kind of go from there.
Part 5. Thank you for taking the time. I hope this provides some truth to dissipate the lies that have been told. We're going to jump right into the Brian Kent matter. For any of you who don't know, Brian Kent was a lawyer who agreed to take on various Scientology cases. And it turned out that he abused one of his female clients, engaging in an inappropriate relationship with her.
We found out more.
That person filed a bar complaint against Brian Kent, which is a confidential document. And typically it's left to the bar to investigate the claims. But that was going very slowly. And the victim confided in Jenna Miscavige, who she believed was a good friend, and gave her a copy of the bar complaint on the promise that she would never disclose it. Of course, she gave it.
We now know that that's not the case because the document was also given to Aaron, and Aaron posted that on his community wall. He showed that to everybody so you guys can see it there. There's some details here that I'm kind of questioning. Like, I don't know if this is part. Okay, let me be very respectful here, because even though I've been called a dog by this man, I'm still very respectful. Like, listen. I have a lot of empathy, like I said. I do. There's a lot of people that had this document. Let me just say that much. There's a lot of people that had this document. So I don't know if it was just Jenna that had it. I'm pretty sure there was probably others. I'm going to say that. Okay. Let me go ahead and hit play on this.
It's Aaron Smith-Levin. And that document was then disseminated far more broadly. I was unaware that this document existed, though Aaron and his Flying Monkeys and Jane Doe 1 all knew that it was out there. It wasn't until some weeks later that the victim contacted me, tearfully telling me that she was afraid that they were going to release this document in order to harm me, that she'd been told this by Christy Gordon. And ultimately, that was why Christy Gordon withdrew from her participation in the so-called SBTV Foundation. When she told me about this, I called her lawyer, and I asked her lawyer, what should I do? And he asked me not to say anything. He did not want to jeopardize the bar complaint. He did not want to jeopardize Brian Kent being disciplined for what he had done. I contacted 2 other lawyers.
Okay.
Not related to the case, not related to anything. And both of them counseled me not to say anything.
All right.
I didn't. And I felt obliged not to, that it was the ethical thing to do. But eventually, Miriam Francis, of all people, got on YouTube with buddy Alex the Rabbit and put this out into the world. Now, Miriam is a very interesting person.
Now let me correct Mike Rinder here. No, it was just me in the video who talked about the document. Let's just make sure that we get the facts straight here, right? It was just me who talked about the document. That was me. That was all me. Okay. That's who it was. It was Miriam wasn't there. It wasn't after the fact, other people did their videos and they gave commentary to what was happening. Okay. I just want to make sure, like, I have no problem saying who and what was there. Okay. I think that's important.
When Leah and I first brought her onto the show, she had no idea that she was a victim. As crazy as that sounds, we shut down the production.
And this is what Miriam disputes on her very well-written posts. Lie number 1. This is Miriam's channel. If Ahmad can please drop it. Rage Against the Dark Arts. Lie number 1. that I had no idea I was a victim until filming in 2017 when Mike and Leah told me I was. Then please, for the love of Xenu, how and why did I file a police report in 2012 in Australia, detailing extensively the facts that I was a victim? And she said it in the show too, by the way. Like, she hadn't filed a police report, what is it, in California? But she had filed it. How do you tell a victim that she didn't know she was a victim? Do you see what I'm saying? How does that happen? And I promise you, I will acknowledge super chats and all that other stuff. I promise you guys, I'm like on a roll right now and I don't want to lose my concentration because I have ADHD and I'm not medicated. All right. So he says that. Okay. So I don't know if it was like, oh, damn, Miriam, you must recognize that Mike Rinder did right by you. Mike Rinder did right by you because you didn't know you were a victim up until you came across the Aftermath show. Up until Leah and Mike Rinder put your show out, that's when you realize that you've been victimized. Is that the case? Oh, it was because they gave you a voice? It was a bigger platform? I'm so confused. But anyways, let me keep playing this, okay?
Brought in the LAPD
Mm-hmm.
and sat with her as she explained what had happened with her father. And the detectives at the time said that it was astonishing to them that she didn't understand what a victim she had been. And it had not been for us, nothing would have ever begun to investigate her father.
Oh.
But Miriam decided that because I couldn't find a self-serving affidavit that her mother supposedly had written or had signed, having it written by a Scientology attorney, to cover her ass in the matter of the abuse of her husband, of her daughter, Miriam decided that now I was somehow completely evil. And I was really the one that was responsible for the assault on her.
She never said that, Mike. She never said that. But you know what? Why do you think he took it that way? Why do you think that he kind of perceived it that way? Is it because you're getting that kind of heat from her? What is it exactly? That's what I thought, Sue. Thank you for saying this. It was more likely Miriam didn't know she could file a police report in California. But that's what I'm saying is like the people here. Yes, I get it. Look, I'm not speaking for the people that interviewed for the Aftermath show. Like, don't get me wrong. I am sure that it gave them a level of like a voice, right? Because they did. I will never discredit what the Aftermath show did to a lot of people. Hell, I mean, I remember watching every season on A&E. Like it was the show to watch at that time. And just being like so shocked by the things this cult. I had no idea, right? But it doesn't like make it's a platform. That's it. And some folks use that platform to grow their story and tell their story and let other people know. But people are allowed to feel some type of way about you if they felt like they've been wronged by you. That's important. That's important.
Not her father. She never mentioned her father. But prior to that, what had happened was that Miriam had requested funds from the Aftermath Foundation for this experimental treatment for PTSD survivors.
Okay.
And we had failed.
That's when he gets into the shots and clearly he's upset about that. And literally no one says thank you. And I remember this piece too. Literally no one says, I'm watching Maria's episode of the Aftermath show. She tells Mike and Leah that filed criminal charges in Australia, right? That she had actually told them that she had filed criminal charges in Australia in 2012. So it wasn't like, hey, guess what? You're a victim. You're a victim. Nah.
And gladly so.
So gladly so. Fast forwarding.
We were all so happy when she finally escaped. But Mike Brown decided at some point that me and Claire and the Aftermath Foundation were bad. It just made absolutely no sense. I had found him lawyers to represent Rosemary, and those
Wow.
lawyers got back all the money she had been swindled out of in the last 2 years that she was in Scientology. But that wasn't enough. Mike Brown wanted to file a lawsuit on behalf of his mother.
And he gets into the Mike Brown stuff, and I wonder if Mike Brown is going to respond to this, but honestly, like, he's pretty busy. I'm going to try to get to the part where he talks about Brian Kent, because he kind of goes a little bit all over here. I really do hope that there's some clarity to this, but at the same time, if you're a foundation, right, like you're supposed to be helping people, right? So you're going to be helping people. You're going to be helping people. Oh my God. Yeah. Everyone is wrong but me. So it's almost like everyone is wrong but me. I can't, the inability to kind of recognize, like, oh, I see where Miriam is coming from. A little bit of validation, a little bit of it, of saying, I could have done this different. I could have been more proactive with this whole California law, which he never mentions. I could have said, to my fangirl, the baby Rinder lady, like, listen, you don't got to attack these people like that. I could have done a little bit more, but he doesn't do that. In my opinion, it never happened. You said Mike seems to, hold up, Goober. Mike seems to not be able to accept that people aren't going to just slap him on the back and tell him what a great dude he is after decades and decades of him doing heinous shit with Scientology while in Scientology. And you have to wonder, like, how many people don't we know about? There's probably a lot of people we don't know about that haven't been able to tell their story, that have been impacted by a lot of the decisions that were made by Mike Rinder and associates. I'm thinking of one. What is his name? Jerry. I mean, isn't the guy living like in a whole different country? Anyways, and I know he watches some of the stuff here. Let me know if, for those that are, survivors of this cult, there is a man who literally, thank you, Jerry Armstrong, who, in my opinion, never gets mentioned here. And I don't want to speak for Mr. Armstrong. There are videos out there. Y'all can see them from like 11, 15 years ago, where he's talking about the shit that he went through and exposing what happened with him. And Mike, see, here's the deal. It's like, you don't get to, he lives in Vancouver. I know he watches some of the stuff, out here. I say that because I'm just going to say, I know he watches. Okay. I really wish that, I mean, did he make amends with that person? Because he hurt that person. Were there any amends made there? Does he see the need for it? Probably not. He sees the need to, expose Aaron. And quite honestly, I mean, I'm hearing all the stuff that he said about Aaron. I've already heard all this shit. I don't care. Like, it's not like he's got his own foundation. Both of these foundations, in my opinion, could do a little bit better about, how they're maneuvering, but that's like any other foundation. That's no shade. That's just telling y'all, like, every foundation can do better. You know what I mean? We can all do better about the things that we do. But I don't care about Aaron's private life or Jenna's private life or what happened here. Y'all are living through who's married to who and who's doing what. I don't give a shit, because what they shit don't do nothing to me. You know what I'm like? It's not perfect, but I'm not the one with Aaron, and none of us are related to Aaron. None of us are related to Reese. I don't give a shit about what she does or doesn't do or anything. There's like this generational thing. And somebody said in another video, somebody was like, well, Aaron was very unbecoming of this. I'm like, there's a lot of people that are unbecoming of a lot of shit, but I also didn't grow up in a cult. I didn't grow up in a cult. Did y'all grow up in a cult? That never ends in this chat. Did you guys grow up in the cult? Because I didn't grow up in a cult. So for me, I'm not going to tell Aaron, you need to make sure that you do X, Y, and Z. I'm also not going to get in between the beef between Nora and Aaron, because guess what? I like them both. I really do. I do. Nora knows that I like her. Nora knows that I don't agree with half of the shit that she does. That's just my thought. I like Aaron, but I don't agree with everything that he does, but it's not for me to dictate. You guys, people have to live their lives. You can advise them, but you can't tell them what to do. There's too many armchair therapists here in this community that are willing to throw diagnosis all over the place. I mean, even Mr. Rinder here said that Aaron is a sociopath. Well, if Aaron's a sociopath, then what does that make him? What does that make David Miscavige? What does that make L. Ron Hubbard? Yo, like it doesn't make sense to me. But anyways, let me go ahead and play where he talks about this.
So that truth is the fact that the exposure or the premature exposure
Yes.
of Brian Kent has resulted in him never being prosecuted. It will never happen now. The bar never wants to do anything.
So he says here that because the document was leaked, it has resulted with Brian Kent not being prosecuted. But I thought the bar was just an investigation. It wasn't to like prosecute him. I thought the bar investigating him was just that. And it's so interesting. If this is so confidential, how the hell do you know the outcome of what is going to happen? I mean, explain it. I might have some lawyers in the chat. Maybe I'm missing something. And if I am, I want to know. Hold up. Let me text somebody real quick. I just want to know. Leaking. So there was a bunch of people, and this is out of Marcy Hamilton's mouth, right? She said that the information has led to other people to come forward and speak out. And there are other people that have had concerns with Brian Kent. So how does he know the outcome of what happened? He said it's never going to happen. He's never going to get prosecuted or disciplined or both. Thank you, Sandra. Sandra says, look, they are the ones that discipline the attorneys. Right, Sandra? But the bar doesn't prosecute. They just discipline, correct? Because I'm thinking prosecuted. I'm thinking criminal charges. That's what I'm thinking. Let me know. Yes, I got that. Thank you. Here. Bar scholar here. Bar can punish and recommend criminal charges. Thank you. But they don't criminally charge. They just take licenses. So they can say, all right, we're going to discipline you. And how long does it take them? Because this was exposed, in April? So how does he know the outcome of something that is confidential? That's what I want to know. Shout out to my beautiful law scholars and all the lawyers and stuff like that. Let me know. I did, Mar. We're reacting to them right now. I feel like what reliving toxicity is, it confuses me. It felt like he was back in his old self. He's relieving toxicity, but I think what it's done is unleashed a lot of confusion. In the sense that a lot of us just have a lot of questions about what to make of this. So I like that you said that. Okay, here it is. Rabbit, it is possible criminal investigation is tainted by the complaint being leaked, but it all depends on the context. Thank you. How would we know so soon? Thank you, Art, for clarifying. Art in Courts, who said, Rabbit, it's possible that a criminal investigation is tainted by the complaint being leaked, but it all depends on the context. Hold up, y'all. Thank you for clarifying that. If there were so many people that came out, thank you. I appreciate it. No, seriously, I appreciate it because this is not my arena. We don't know what we don't know what's going to come out of this, and also based on what was put out there by Marcy Hamilton herself, who said that there appears to be a pattern of manipulative and abusive behavior by Kent towards vulnerable clients nationwide seeking to find validation and justice in the legal system. Okay. The organization did not immediately provide details on the allegations. Well, why would they provide details if they don't know about them? Okay. There are others out there who have the same story. How would she know that if it hasn't already been told to her? How would she know that there was others that have the same story if it wasn't already provided and put out there? Okay. We just didn't want to let anyone think that this should be ignored. This is when the FBI ought to get involved. That's what she says. The wordplay here is amazing. Let me just say that. So Mike Rinder puts this out here. All right.
That they don't have to do. And when we learned of what had happened in the bar complaint, we held an emergency board meeting of Child
Okay.
USA. We determined that we needed a response from Brian Kent, demanded one from him. Instead of responding, he resigned from his law firm and resigned from Child USA.
And yeah, the law firm, I mean, a lot of people were giving statements. A lot of attorneys that work with Brian Kent were giving statements like, what is going on? And I mean, just imagine the whole liability that if there was a pattern of behavior. And it was so weird was that a couple years ago, there was this like Google review comment that appeared under Child USA about highlighting a little bit of what Brian Kent had done. So there were other people that were speaking. You know, here's the deal is that when you victims, if they don't address what's been done to them, can also become perpetrators, right? And perpetrators, it's the way it's set up. It's a cycle, right? At one point, a perpetrator was a victim. And if Brian Kent didn't address all the shit that he had, whatever it was, it would be easy for this to happen and ricochet the way that it did, if you know what I mean. Hold up. Let me see. Somebody says that. You said, I think Rinder is conflating a bar investigation and a criminal investigation. That's why I was confused. I would agree with you on that. But let me go ahead and hit play on this.
We put out a statement condemning him. But now there's no reason for the bar to go forward. And I am pretty sure that it never will.
Okay.
Weirdly,
this is what he said with certainty. There's no reason why they need to go forward. And now I know that they never will. But his prior statement said that they weren't going to discipline or prosecute him, right? So either you know or you don't know, or you've concluded already. It's just weird, but let me go ahead.
Recently, Miriam Francis has has taken the position or made the allegation.
Mm-hmm.
When I was joining the board of Child USA, they were contemplating having Ghislaine Maxwell join the board too.
I mean, he was hurt by that comment. I've never heard Miriam say that, but okay.
2 minutes of Googling would have shown that Child USA presented its highest award to Brad Edwards, the person who brought Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell to justice.
Okay.
And not only that, his partner in doing those actions and bringing him ultimately to prison was Brittany Henderson.
Right.
To this day, Brittany remains on the board of Child USA.
That's amazing.
The person who brought down Jeffrey Epstein. This is how wild and crazy the lies that get spread out there are. And unless someone takes the time to check out whether these lies are true or not, they just sit there as, well, this is what happened.
Okay.
At the time that this all blew up, I offered Child USA to step down if they thought it would be helpful to their avoidance of the scandal. The chairman of the board of Child USA and the executive director responded to me with literally, fuck them, not listening. We don't care what those people say. We know what you have done. We know it's not your job to do anything other than the work you're doing for Child USA, which we continue to value.
Okay. Fuck them.
That
fuck all the people that have exposed, that have said different things. Fuck everybody else. Fuck everybody else. There was somebody in here that I was like, I mean, it is what it is. And like I said, nobody's going to agree. Somebody said Rabbit fueled all this, and she gave Aaron a platform after his LA drama with his obviously mentally ill fan. Y'all are mentally ill, apparently. Okay. She peddled misinformation. What part was peddled? Okay. What she did do though completely unintentionally, was give Aaron enough rope to expose himself as a narcissistic abuser. I could see it as plain can be. I immediately unsubscribed from him. Glad, Lord have mercy, this lady wrote a whole essay. Glad Mike, something, something, something. Okay. So I gave Aaron a platform. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like you can't just, the way the community situation is happening. It's like if you are okay with Aaron and Aaron happens to hit the link or Aaron comes up here, right? That means that you are one team over the other. Now, let me just say this. Am I a fan of everything that Mike Rinder has done? No, I'm not. Am I a fan of everything that Aaron has done? No, I'm not. You guys, I'm not. But I'm also not a Aaron hate channel. I'm not. And y'all know that. And some of you guys have followed me from a lot of everything that went down and know that I don't just talk about, I talk about all kinds of things. We expose all kinds of things. We have a, conversation about all kinds of things. So what is you have to be one way or another. You must platform this person over another person. What is that all about? Miriam clarified on her community post that she never mentioned Maxwell. This is a fabrication of Rinder made out of a whole cloth. Well, that's the thing. It's like, but nobody's gonna call Mike Rinder out, right? Because he's sick. If Aaron Smith-Levin does any videos on Mike Rinder right now, he would be a bad person for doing that. That would be like he's literally sick and you're going against a sick man. Does that make sense? And I brought that point up last time, and people were like, yeah, I mean, some people were like, no, he should respond. I'm like, but if you're lying, yeah. Ooh, wee, Lady Pamela. Shout out to you. And that's the thing, is like, people are going to have their favorites in this community. I'm not going to go back and forth. What I showed was receipts. And let me just say this, okay? There were multiple people. It wasn't just Aaron. It wasn't just Nora. There were other people that said, listen, what happened in the LA situation? What happened in the LA situation was what happened. And this woman was not well. And there were so many others that supported that. So now we are going to fall out with Aaron, and therefore he's this and that and the other. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not there. I'm cool with Aaron. I'm going to continue to be okay with Aaron and other people. Some people may not like that. That's fine. You don't get to decide for me. That's okay. But that's my decision, right? I know. So Rabbit called this last year. Thank you. I said this movement would implode because you had too many bad actor chiefs and not enough workers per se. Selfish. Y'all want to end it. Y'all need to come together. That's how you end a cult. But what's so interesting, Chico, is that some people in this community aren't about ending the cult. Some people really thrive in this drama. I mean, and I don't say drama in the sense of like there's some people that have real that are really hurting here. You know what I mean? And then some people really like to kick people that are hurting. It's so weird, the infiltration of a lot of things that have happened. And instead of just sitting back and saying, I'm going to support everybody, you can't. You have to take sides. That's what you have to do. It's crazy. Let me keep reading. This case okay, so she said this, so that was a lie. She disproves Mike Rinder on that, okay? I provided all the information about my case to Mike Rinder via email in 2016. It was based on the case that production flew me to the US for filming in 2017 to participate in this series, all right? The reason I was there was because I knew I was a victim. So it wasn't like she learned she was a victim while she was, in this aftermath show. You know what? You are so right. I would have given him a platform. I promise you that. I would have given Mr. Rinder a platform. But it wasn't going to happen once he read the questions. I would have had no problem saying, you know what? maybe Mr. Rinder, I could have asked the questions that John Atack. I'm sorry, Mr. Atack. I thought you went a little soft, and that's because y'all knew each other, that we would have been able to ask. But Mike Rinder's not interested in that. What I've realized is that the people that are around are so conditioned to be a certain way. When I brought Aaron, when we talked to Aaron, I asked the questions. I wasn't conditioned. I wasn't like, all right, Aaron, I gotta protect your fifis. No, he told you everything that was happening. Everything. He did it, not me. I didn't put any words in his mouth. He said what he said. Ooh, baby bunny. Why can't you just believe Mike about Aaron? Miriam knows how Aaron is. Elaine, you are famous. You know that? shout, out to Nora. I saw Nora losing her shit over there with Elaine. Elaine, why? Oh my God, she's so loud. Hold up. Why can't you believe Mike about Aaron? Why can't I believe Mike about Aaron? Miriam knows how Aaron is. Y'all drop some hearts for Elaine. Elaine, your name has been ringing on these SPTV streets. What is going on? Elaine, shout out to Elaine. Elaine, you are working overtime, girl. Shout out to you. Why? Listen, I can believe whatever I want to believe. This is just my commentary. Shout out to you, girl. I remember Nora put in her sound thing, and she's like, Elaine. Shout out to Elaine, man. Elaine, don't block Elaine. Elaine can stay. She said, "What's up?" And then you acting like you ain't start shit with people in this community. You need to go sit down somewhere. And Lori Plays. So here's Lori Plays. Because I don't, you know what I'm saying? Thank you, Lori Plays. Elaine, why can't you believe Aaron about Mike? Why can't they all be they can all be believed? Elaine, listen, they can all be believed. I just think it's funny, yo. Hold up, let me see what the people are saying. Oh shit. See, the people are going crazy. Let me tell you guys something. All right. And this is just a couple of thoughts. All right. So let me get back to Miriam. Okay. And then we'll get into the other stuff that I have. Okay. You said, seems like Rabbit had a beef with Rinder before Miriam's issue. That's what generated the fleet comment. I didn't even know Rinder. Viper, honestly, I didn't like, I've never, what beef would I have? Honestly, I have no beef with Rinder. Did he tell you that I had a beef with them? Never. That's not true. That's not true. I promise y'all that's not true. I didn't know who Rinder was. Okay. Line number 2. If it wasn't for us, Mike and Leah, nothing would have ever begun to investigate her father. See above. Could we talk about that? Line number 3, I decided Mike Rinder was the one who was really responsible for the assaults, not my father. She never mentioned her father. I never stated that Mike Rinder was the one responsible for the assaults and not my father. I'm still to this day continuing to pursue criminal action against my father for the assaults that he committed against me, and I have spoken about this fact many times publicly and provided details to the extent that I can, given that it is an active and current police case of a sensitive nature. Additionally, Mike Rinder said that I made the allegation that when he was joining the board of Child USA, that they were contemplating having Ghislaine Maxwell join the board too, huh? I was surprised by this. Yeah, I was surprised by that comment because I don't think that was maybe a misrepresentation or maybe he heard something. I'm not really sure. My focus has been for the truth and transparency from Mike Rinder in regards to his involvement and knowledge of practices against victims in Scientology, including but not limited to my own case, and I have expressed my outrage for the overall lack of justice for Scientology survivors, and there continues to be that case. Right? And there continues to be that case. I have highlighted Mike Rinder's conflict of interest and raised concern for his position next to victims, particularly his false advocacy brought to light by the fact that he did not make known, this is true, can y'all dispute that? That he did not make known about the window of opportunity for the historical cases of cover-up of child abuse, of child sexual abuse, which may have been brought against Scientology in California, a state which houses not only their international headquarters, but coincidentally, Mike Rinder's former workplace. You can't dispute that, y'all. Like, no matter how you put it, I don't know how they overlooked that. A board full of advocates and attorneys, many, many, many attorneys, overlooked this. How does that happen? It's weird. It's weird how all of this happened. I don't get it, y'all. I just don't. Scientology is being exposed as a criminal organization, which requires focus on crimes and people who committed those crimes and people who covered up the crimes. Okay. And unfortunately, I didn't put words in Mike Rinder's mouth. He put those words in his mouth. He knows what he said or didn't do or anything. Marcy Hamilton stated that there were multiple victims of Brian Kent and called for an FBI investigation into that matter. I just read to you guys that article. Okay. Mike Rinder first asserts that the bar complaint won't go forward as a result of its being public, and then says it doesn't matter now as Brian Kent resigned from his law firm in Child USA, so it probably won't go forward due to it no longer being necessary. So which one is it? Let me know. Right. The fact that none of the victims who could file charges missed the look back window in California says everything. Did he address this in the 7 videos that he didn't know? He addressed Aaron Smith-Levin leaving the board, which we all fucking knew because it's been said time and time again, and then other stuff has been said. I'm sorry, you guys. I do not care about what he did in a truck or in a different country. It doesn't matter, y'all. It doesn't matter. You did 7 videos and oh man, thank you. Liz, 7 videos. Did you get mentioned in those videos? What about other people? You guys, like, who didn't get mentioned? Who didn't? Like, it's just weird to me. And then he felt at the very end like people, that he helped people. I don't know. He didn't even mention his children at all. That's on him, yo. I don't know what to say. Yeah. I don't know what to say about any of that whatsoever. So then he says, okay, here we go. Say he regrets the blog post, because remember he did say that he regrets the post that he wrote about the it's a fun day for a smear campaign, and then he put a little rabbit thing, and then he said he didn't mention Surge. Y'all remember that? Notice how he doesn't mention Surge, not once, not one time. That was weird. Certain people, I think people are afraid of certain people, right? Certain people are afraid of certain folks. Just like Jerry Armstrong wasn't mentioned once in any of those videos, right? I was a little surprised by that. I said, well, maybe they're good now. Maybe they're friends. I doubt it, but I mean, I'm just saying. I think Surge scares a lot of people. I'm just going to say that. I think Surge scares a lot of people to a certain extent. Shout out to Surge. Not that he's a scary person, but Surge doesn't hide from the bullshit titles. Like, he just doesn't. Okay. Regardless, love or hate, you have to understand that Surge doesn't hide from that. Surge is who he is, and he will speak to the things that make sense. Said, Rabbit, that makes more sense. If you resign, it could stop the bar investigation. That does not mean a criminal agency won't take the case. Oh, okay, look at this. Rabbit, that makes sense. If you resign, it stops the bar investigation. So if you resign as a lawyer, it stops the bar investigation, but it doesn't mean that a criminal agency won't take the case or that you can't go civil. Am I correct? And then there's probably others, right? Because it would be an FBI investigation. Oh my God. And thank you for saying this. Rinder's obsession with ASL sex life always confused me. Literally no one, that's a lot of people here. That's a lot of people that are really invested into who Aaron is with. Like, I don't give a shit. But now I get it. Rinder explained how Miscavige used sex secrets to humiliate and smear people when he explained the sausage incident. I was so lost by that sausage incident. I am not gonna lie. I was so lost by that. Um, yeah, I didn't get it. I didn't get. I Let me explain that to me. How did that? Did you guys, those that watch it, were you like, yeah, I know what that means? I was so lost by that whole thing. I was like, so this happened to him, and he was ashamed by it. Um, and so then we're gonna talk about Aaron's life, and we're gonna shame Aaron for it. That's what I'm saying. You said I didn't think Rinder could go any lower, and the fact that he is towards the end of his life makes it even more disgusting. What kind of a person is he? Yeah, he explained it. Literally, no one. I just didn't understand why it was important for him to like put that out there. You know what I mean? Like, why would this be important? Yeah, yeah, because in the first what 6 videos or 5 videos, it was about throwing whatever shade to Aaron and everybody else. And I mean everybody else, right? But at the end of the day, it was like, wait a minute. You just did what you said David Miscavige would do to people, which is basically hold something over somebody's head. That's what we need to know. Like, I don't get it. It's crazy, y'all. Let me see. And I know everybody's like, some of y'all like Aaron, some of you guys don't. Some of you guys like Nora, some of you guys don't. Like I said, I like both of them, y'all. This is why I don't pick. I like them both. All right. You're not gonna hear me trash one or the other, and they know it too. But yeah. You said to me it seems like Rinder is going to, and he wanted his last vindictive words. I mean, it's a sad way to put that out there. The sausage incident is why he didn't release the files to anyone, but Mark Headley and Leah Remini, he couldn't remove one of those files. I was confused by that too. And so those files are out there. There's a lot. And I didn't quite appreciate him going after the Jane Does. To me, the Jane Does, going after the Jane Does basically set him back like all the way. Like all this, it was like, dude, if you did work to expose this cult, damn, like where are you at now? And there's a lot of people that I don't care for in the community, but like, come on, dude. Like right there, I when he went after the Jane Does, that was like below low. I don't know what to say. What do y'all think about that? Because that's kind of where I fell. Let me read some of these super chats, y'all, because I don't want to get behind. I'm so sorry that I'm behind this. Darby, thank you for being a member for 21 months. Justin T, please, a member for 22. Lady Pamela, a member for 11. Night Charm, 11. A member for 11 months. Yo, shout out to my people that have been members for like 2 years, almost 2 years, a year, almost a year. Latanda just gifted 5 memberships, and so did Jill. You guys put some hearts in the chat. Sorry, I didn't acknowledge you guys. I was just on a rampage earlier. Put some hearts in the chats if you got memberships from, hold up, Latanda, Jill, and SPTB Keyboard Warrior. Shout out to my keyboard warrior again. He's a doll, says, I'm confused how I feel. I know I was touched and there was a ring of truth about it. All of it, just saying. He's a doll. I'm confused by your comment. He's a doll. I know I was touched and there was a ring of truth about it. All of it, just saying. I guess you're gonna have to clarify a little bit. And thank you for becoming a member, SBTV. Mars says, I read this one earlier. I did read it. I have a different type of thought about it. Mar says from a flea to a rabbit. Well, no, I'm a dog. Yo, he did. I got the clarification that I was a dog. You know what I mean? Mike Rinder, bobbleheads. I don't know about bobbleheads anymore, y'all. Y'all are doing too much in this chat. Let me see what else you guys are saying. You said all of the videos are self-serving, omitted details of any wrongdoings on his behalf. The details about Miriam's were so, yeah, you're right. There was a lot of details that didn't quite, I don't know, y'all. Things that were wrong. Like when he said that the Juliana, the lady from the whole LA incident, had called for help to the Aftermath Foundation. I didn't think she was a Scientologist. I mean, let me know in the chat. I don't think she's a Scientologist, right? Like, why would she call? I thought she messaged the Aftermath Foundation to try to get at Aaron, to go after Aaron. But I never thought that it was nothing like that. She isn't. That's what I thought, right? Like she isn't. She just called to basically try to out Aaron or whatever. Rinder uses people's ruins, their most hurtful incidents or current situation, to cut them down. That's a Scientology thing, abusive Scientology. Thank you for your comment. Self-serving words. That's what I thought, that she called to get Aaron fired. Yeah, that's true. Frida, thank you for becoming a member. Shout out to you. You said, I don't blame Rinder for not incriminating himself. He shouldn't divulge his involvement in the pedo stuff. Okay, let me understand this, Viper. I don't blame Rinder for not incriminating himself. He shouldn't divulge his involvement in the pedo stuff. So are you saying, like, I don't know what to make of your comment. I mean, what do y'all think about this comment? I'm trying to understand. What do you mean? Let me know what you mean by that. I'm so confused by your comment. Y'all, shout out to Viper. I don't know if you're trolling me or what. Lucinda, imagine practically being on your deathbed and still calling people flying monkeys. Hell, that's what I'm saying. It's like, hell, I got called a dog. Like I said, I've been called a bitch before multiple times. So it's not like, ooh, you called me a bitch. I mean, he didn't say that. He said, a dog. That's what he called me. But to call people flying monkeys, you said, Mike, go and lay down. Lucinda, thank you for the $4.99. I'm telling y'all. It's something else. Yes, please misspell the word pedo. Thank you very much. You said Rinder attack dog can't teach old dog new tricks. Hold up. You would think Mike Rinder would cherish his precious moment, his precious time left, and concentrate on loving out his family. What is wrong with his low life? I don't know, y'all. Like I said, I don't have any ill will towards him. I don't have any at all. Okay, here's Viper again. I'm like, I would like, say a little bit more. Legally, you should not make a case against yourself, obviously. You don't incriminate yourself. Say nothing. All right. Some of y'all are saying that if you were Rinder, you wouldn't incriminate yourself. Okay. What about the lady that was on Nora's channel? What's her name? I think her name is Cece. Y'all remember that one? Okay. She's willing to file police reports on herself, right? Is that you shouldn't incriminate yourself? But if the information that you have could really help somebody or bring some answers, I mean, easier for somebody who has never been in a cult, right? Like Viper, I'm assuming that you're not an ex-Scientologist. I don't want to. I'm assuming, right? You didn't. You just a watcher, right? I just want to make sure. There's a lot of people that are under anonymous accounts that claim to be ex-Scientologists, and I'm like, are you sure? I'm just kind of wondering because I'm kind of questioning a lot behind this. That's true, Cubana Chica. I thought Natalie's thoughts that Mr. Rinder was pulling a Marty Rathburn was very close to the truth. Yeah. I saw, shout out to Natalie. I saw her video, and her video was deep. And let me tell you, somebody who has she dealt with death just recently, y'all. People tend to forget that. And it's just sad to me. You said thank you, Saul says never in, but all in taking down the cult. Well, shout out to you. Rinder was not being accused of being a pedo. He just covered up. That's right. Even though he took it like he was like Miriam was projecting those charges. No, that's not what she was doing. He must not believe in heaven or hell. I believe you create your own heaven or hell. If he doesn't pay for his sins in this lifetime, he will in the next. This Claudia. Everybody believes a little bit different. You know what I mean? You said, I said that a year ago, a plant since day he left. It felt like a lot of gaslighting. You said, I was in before, but I can imagine someone in a high role doing something illegal. Once they're out, should they confess? You mean you were in Scientology before? So you were in Scientology before. So you are a survivor of this cult. But I can imagine someone in a high role doing something illegal. Once they are out, should they confess? Yeah, I think so. I think they should. That's just my opinion. That if you are out, you should do everything to help law enforcement and do what you have to do. Exactly. And I'm there with you. Like you could feel two things. And that's where I'm at. Two things can be correct. I mean, hell, even people left comments. Let me see if I can go to my other video. People left comments on my other video that I was like, oh shit, okay, well, I mean, everybody feels a little bit different. Like, hold up, y'all. See if I can pull it. People left comments in my other video that said something to the effect of like, oh, he's just saying his what happened. Like, we need to just let him be, leave him alone, that type of situation. I'm like, well, he's exposed this, you guys. Like, it's not. He came out swinging at Aaron, and I'm like, yeah, but this is what you want people to think of you. I mean, we could read some of those comments right now. You said the light is giving off a clear. Shout out to this person. Okay, this person right here says some may not agree, but I'm going to say it. Mike knows very well how to manipulate people. Everyone knows where he learned it and all. Not only that, it's just who he is. I believe he's using his illness as a leverage to hurt Aaron. And it's sad and it's sick, but I fully believe it. Never think for a second that Mike doesn't know what he's doing and how he's doing it. Regardless, his mind never left the cult. Looks like Aaron's space in Mike's head. That's the part that I was like, you still talking about this? Oh Lord, like you. Wow. Okay. You took a break and then you came back to give your videos to talk about Aaron. That's not off at all. That's not off at all. I believe it's because Aaron became more of a celebrity on YouTube than him. Narcissist till the end. Okay, here it is. A lot of people have been, a lot has been slung back and forth. A shame, really, that either waste any energy on that. Do I think Mike was right with all that he did? No, but I also can't assume the impact of his trauma indoctrination had on his actions. That's a good point. You can't force a person to give you what you want or even deserve. See, this person does make a good point. You can't force a person to give you what you want or even deserve. If that is what he wants his last message to be, that's his right. And I did say that in the earlier video. I said he's got his right to tell his last message. We may not like it. We may be confused by it because a lot of us were, but we don't know. Telling him he should do it differently is no different than telling others how to be. That's true. People say how they feel about it and how it impacts them, but addressing him directly just seems like an exercise in futility. He's done. He chose his exit from the conversation, factual or not. There you go. The man is dying from one of the most painful cancers. There it is. He's going to spend what time he has left with those he cares about. Just let him be. And if you believe any of the traditional religions, his judgment does not come from anyone here. That is true. Believe it or not, I like this person's comment. They're right. Like, I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I don't agree with everything that he said. But he's choosing that to be the narrative that he releases out to the world. Does that make sense? You're right, Dino. It is the worst way. Oh man. Jill, thank you for the $2. I don't know about that, Jill. Lord have mercy. Thank you for the $2. Jill, shout out to Jill. Jill, I got your packages. I'm gonna shout you guys out tomorrow. Thank you guys. Look at this. Viper says Rinder is trained to attack, not defend, but it's bad PR. He should just explain he will not self-incriminate. You should interview him. I don't think he wants to interview me, Viper. I highly doubt that if this is the last days that he has, that he would want to spend it with someone like me. But Viper, I appreciate it. Now, if it was a thing where somebody says, Rabbit, like, let him tell his, he's willing, then that would be, I just don't think that that would ever happen. I'm not closing my door because I don't close my door to things, but I don't think that he would, even after all this, I don't think he would. But Viper, I understand where you're coming from. Mars says, okay, from a flea to a dog. Oh, Lord have mercy. Let's see. Y'all are interesting. I agree with you on this one, failed pessimist. Let me say this, all right? And I know some of you guys are not going to agree with me, but I actually agree with you on this. Let me explain to you guys why. When you people start calling people narcissists, and I've said this before in a video, you guys got to stop because people are using it as a form of expression to a person versus really understanding what the diagnosis is. Now, let me be very clear. I'm not going to sit here and call Rinder a narcissist. Number one, because I've never met Rinder. And number two, I would not diagnose, like, I don't do that. It's irresponsible. It's couch diagnosing. Like, we're just throwing it out there to hurt somebody based on things that we have watched on videos, but we've never met these people. Honestly, I've talked to Aaron offline. I've talked to Nora offline, but I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, damn, you're a narcissist and you're this and you're that, because I don't know them. Right? And because I don't know them, I'm not going to just throw that out there. It's irresponsible, you guys. And honestly, it loses its meaning when we just throw this shit out there. Now, Aaron and Nora have met. That's a whole different situation. Who else? Serge and these people, they've met each other. They've been in like these group chats and boards. I have not. So we have to be careful. Now, some of you guys are coming from a place of, I confronted a narcissist, so I know what it means. That's fine. That's your experience. But it takes away from the real diagnosis. Honestly, it's more harmful than good based on how you feel in the moment to just throw that out there. We have to be careful. That's just my thought on that. But thank you. I agree, fail pessimist. I actually very much agree with that. We have to be very careful with how we throw that shit out there. But don't listen to me. Listen, I'm just a little person here on the internet with a big mouth. Y'all don't have to listen to me. Okay. That's what I'm going to say about that. Okay. All right. So somebody said when Mike came out with his diagnosis, he needed experimental treatment that wasn't covered under insurance. Aaron used his channel to direct people to Mike's blog to support him. I remember that. And he said that it was a he didn't ask for that type of fundraising, something to that effect. And he said that he thanked people. I remember that part of the video. You said Aaron knew that he and Mike weren't vibing and he did it anyway. That's a real human there. Mike didn't see it that way. So what I realized is I am not doing any fundraising unless somebody knows that, that they know that they're being fundraised. Moving forward, I honestly couldn't watch because I have lost too many from cancer, and his look triggered me. However, I'm glad that I didn't. I did watch Natalie and appreciated her feelings about this. I watched someone else too, unfortunately, and I'm glad I found you through Aaron. And by the way, shout out to the people that have followed me throughout this whole thing. There are people here who didn't like my commentary, but like stayed for other commentary on other things. Like there's some people that don't agree with me with everything that I've said. That's fine. Like that's the best part. But y'all were respectful to me, and you appreciated me, and you showed me support one way or another. And you said, I may not agree with Rabbit with everything that she says about Aaron or Mike or all these other people, but I really like her content here. And, she puts a smile on my face, or she pisses me off, or she gets me fired up, or whatever. And y'all stayed here for that. So thank you. We don't have to agree with you. That's the best part. Like, we don't have to agree with each other. Some of you guys like these people and some of you guys don't. That's the best part. We don't have to agree with each other. We just don't. My husband died of cancer last year. We watched the ex-Scientology creator almost every day for several years because Hubs had no immune system and we were stuck at home. I never saw Aaron attack Mike except to defend himself a couple times. There wasn't a thing Mike said in these attacks we didn't already know about, except some of the claims have long since been disproven. I believe we should not pay too much attention to these videos. Mike says he had cancer in his brainstem. He had a ton of drugs. He's not been physically and probably mentally well for some time. Bitter sentiments and targeting people with abuse is unfortunately a common side effect of a cancer for some patients. It is a sad way to say goodbye. Sad. Let me see. Thank you. I'm just going through some of these comments. Shout out to everybody. Somebody said, would never wish, shout out to Katie, who might be in the chat, would never wish illness on anybody, but it is weird. It is weird, him coming out, attacking everyone. We already know how you feel about Aaron. No one cares. Nothing new that Aaron hadn't said already. He did say it. It's actually very sad. Stop hating on Aaron, everyone else, and go spend the rest of your life with your loved ones. This should be a reminder that we should all be spending the rest of our time with our loved ones. Don't you guys think? Somebody said two things can be right at the same time. Mike Rinder did horrible things in Scientology, and Mike Rinder also helped people leave Scientology. Shout out to Pamela. I agree. Maybe two things can be. There could have been times where he did really shitty things in Scientology, but also did help at some point. I can agree with that. As much as I don't like the way he's done things, I can agree with that, but it's also not my place for me to say that, if that makes sense. Like, it's not my place to say, oh yeah, you shouldn't have. It's just not. It's not, you guys. Let me say this, okay? And let me hold up. Let me see if I can. Do I need to read some more comments here? Shout out to everybody. No, we're not. We are not the judge. Thank you. Listen, I don't know. I don't agree, but I'm also not Mike Rinder. You know what I mean? And I would never tell somebody, like, you don't fight this way, you don't do this. You know what I mean? I have a lot of empathy because I would never wish this man to go through I just don't. That's not like me to wish illness on anybody or anything like that. This is not. And I know how some of you guys are like that too, where you're like, damn, like, I'm mad about the way he's handled things, or I'm mad about this person, but some of us wouldn't wish anything like that. I'm also not a survivor of this cult, so my feelings about Mike Rinder are going to differ from everybody. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's going to have a different impression or thought about what has been happening. That's my thought on that. You're right. A time of change. You're right. I don't want to keep talking about this. I said what I said about what happened with Brian Kent. I feel like there's a lot of misrepresentation happening there. That happened with Mike Rinder, at least. And shout out to the person with the, legal background in my chat, and anybody else that messages me. I have been knowing about what's been going on. I just haven't publicly talked about it because um it's just like, for what? For what exactly? If it's just feeding a couple of trolls, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I want to continue to bring awareness to what's going on with this cult. I wish Mike and his family, the best. I have no ill will towards Mike. I feel really bad that he's going through what he's going through as a person, with kids. But I'm not going to go back and forth or anything like that. Question: would you be willing to interview Jerry Armstrong? I don't, Bo, I am down to interview. Like I said, I would be down to interview anybody that wants to interview, that is, like, if I just don't think, first of all, I don't think that Mike Rinder would be happy over here. And somebody suggested, I think it was Viper. Jerry Armstrong would be great, but I don't think he would want to. I don't know. I know that other people have reached out. I wouldn't mind. You know what I mean? I wouldn't mind. I know, Sylvia, it's very exhausting. So this is why I'm saying, like, I don't want to go back and forth with this. What else is there? And by the way, a lot of this just feeds a portion of the trolls that remain in the SPTV section that I don't talk about and I don't mention. I don't, because I don't give a shit. There are people that do not like me, and that is absolutely fine. I wish you the best. Vaya con Dios. It is what it is. We have to keep moving forward. That's just how I am, y'all. Um, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this, if that makes sense. This is not the first time. And, people are going to have their opinions about me, like that person who left comments in Mike's videos. It is what it is. It's not the first time, y'all. I promise you. So I'm not worried. So if you're emailing me about this, you guys, it's going to be fine. I'm fine. There's nothing else to this. Now, unless I get called to talk about this in another video, then I plan to. But other than that, I don't want to. I wish everybody in this situation the best. Truly. Even Mike and his family, believe it or not. Because I don't have an ill will towards anybody, and I like everybody. And don't unsubscribe from anybody. Y'all go support who you want to support. Do that, okay? Support the people you want to support. Don't listen to everything that I say. Go do your own research. I have my opinion over here. I'm a small little person over here, okay? I really, really am. But I don't just talk about this, and I don't just talk about one person. Hell, even the people that I've fallen out with, I don't just talk about all the time. There's a lot of people I don't care for, and y'all don't. I've done my video and I moved on accordingly, unless I've had to talk about other things. But that's it. You know what I mean? All right, guys, I'm out. I don't have anything else to say. We got to move on. Yo, I got other stuff to do. Shout out to everybody. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys. There's so many comments. I don't even think I can get to all of them at this point. But thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to shout everybody out. Y'all are amazing. And if you followed me from this journey, from the first time that I talked about this topic, and you have stayed and you have judged me and said, damn, that girl, I don't like that girl. And then you're like, yeah, I think I like that girl. No, I don't think I like that girl. Oh, I think I like that girl. Okay. And you stayed. Thank you for staying. Thank you for giving me a chance. Thank you for being here. You guys, I wouldn't be a creator if it wasn't without you guys or for you guys. You guys have made this channel. Honestly, you guys have made this channel. It's the truth. I would be nothing without you guys. So thank you. All right. Yo, you guys are amazing. Thank you. And shout out to my mods too that have put up with me talking about this stuff. Yes. Everybody's got a little bit of that, right? I know y'all throw that word all over. Everybody has traits of that. Just so you guys do your research, just so you guys are aware. Shout out to everybody. All right, guys, I got to go because I got to go tend to baby bunny. And like I said, I'm done talking about this. You guys have a great night. Best of luck. And if I never see you again, that's okay. Maybe in the next time. Bye, guys.